Captain Ray Carter sat quietly in the small metal room. The ship shook softly around him. Outside, bright stars moved slowly past the windows. Ray was far from Earth now, deep in space aboard a huge alien ship. He didn't belong here. Ray was an engineer on a human spaceship. But a week ago, an alien fleet had surrounded their ship and taken him away. The aliens called themselves the Zalari. They were tall and strong, with blue skin and sharp eyes. Their empire was big, and humans were small in their view. Ray had been taken as a tribute to the Zalari Empire. They said it was to keep peace. But Ray knew it was a kind of prison. The Zalari wanted to see what humans could do. Or maybe, just to show their power. Ray looked around the room. It was plain, with cold walls and a small bed. He had only his tools and a small bag. The air smelled strange. Everything felt wrong. Suddenly the door hissed open. Two tall Zalari guards entered, their armor shining. They nodded at Ray, then turned to leave. But before they left, one said, "You must repair the power core in the royal chambers. Hurry." Ray's heart skipped. The royal chambers? No one told him that. He had no idea what he was walking into. He followed the guards down long, twisting corridors. The walls glowed with soft blue light. Strange plants hung from the ceiling, and quiet music played far away. Finally, they stopped at a large door. It was made of crystal and metal, shaped like a star. "Enter," the guard said. Ray hesitated. His mind told him to be careful, but his body moved forward. He pressed the control panel and the door slid open. Inside was a room filled with soft light. It smelled of flowers and warmth. In the middle was a large, clear pool of water. Steam rose gently from it, and standing in the water was the princess. She was not like any human. Her skin was smooth and pale blue, shining softly. Her long hair floated around her like a silver cloud. She looked at Ray with wide eyes. Ray's eyes grew wide too. He had never seen anyone so beautiful. But he quickly turned away, feeling embarrassed and guilty. He had entered without warning. The princess gasped softly. Her body was bare, covered only by the clear water and steam. Her surprise was clear. Ray cleared his throat. I'm sorry. I didn't know." "Wait," she said, her voice calm but curious. "You are human." "Yes," Ray said, still looking away. "I'm Captain Ray Carter. I am here to fix the power core." The princess stepped out of the water, her eyes never leaving his face. "You are different from what I imagined. The stories say humans are wild and simple." Ray smiled faintly. "We are not simple. We can be smart too." She laughed softly, a sound like music. "Then show me." Ray felt a little braver. "I will do my best." The door opened again and two guards entered. The princess raised a hand. "Let him stay. I want to learn about humans." The guards looked surprised but obeyed. They left the room quietly. Ray took a deep breath. "Thank you." The princess nodded. "I am Zalaria, daughter of the Zalari Emperor." Ray bowed slightly. "It is an honor, princess." Zalaria smiled and motioned for him to sit on a soft chair by the pool. They talked for a long time. She asked about Earth, about humans, about how he lived and worked. Ray answered honestly, telling stories about the small blue planet and its people. Zalaria listened carefully. She was fascinated. "You humans are brave," she said finally. "You survive in places we could never live." Ray shrugged. "We have to. Our planet is tough." They talked about many things, about families, about war, about hopes and fears. Then Zalaria asked quietly, "Why do humans fear so little?" Ray thought. "Maybe because we don't have many choices. We learn to be brave or we don't live. The Idai princess smiled sadly. "In our empire, fear controls many things." Ray nodded. "Fear can be a trap." Suddenly the room shook. The lights flickered. Zalaria's face grew serious. The power core is failing. It could destroy the whole ship. Ray stood up quickly. Show me. She led him to a hidden door at the back of the chamber. It slid open to a narrow passage. They walked down to a room full of glowing machines and humming energy. Ray's eyes scanned the panels. This is bad. The core is unstable. If it explodes, the whole ship could be lost. Zalaria looked worried. Can you fix it? Ray smiled with confidence. I'll try. He set to work, using his tools to adjust valves and reroute power. The machines beeped and hummed louder. Sweat ran down his face. After tense minutes, the energy stabilized. The alarm stopped. Zalaria breathed out a sigh of relief. You saved us. Ray wiped his hands. Just lucky. She looked at him with new respect. You are more than a tribute. You are a hero here. Ray felt warm inside. He had come as a prisoner. Now he was something more. But not everyone was happy. From the shadows, a cold voice whispered, This human, he must not change the balance of power. Ray did not hear the warning, but the shadow watched him closely. As the stars moved outside the windows, Ray sat back beside Zalaria in the royal chamber. The princess, once shocked, now smiled warmly. Ray thought to himself, maybe this place is not so bad after all. The great hall was filled with tension. Zalari nobles sat in high chairs, their faces stern and watchful. Captain Ray Carter stood in the center of the arena, his heart pounding but his mind sharp. The trial of honor was an ancient custom. When nobles had a serious dispute, they settled it with a test of skill and courage. Now Ray was part of it, defending his honor and his place beside Princess Zalaria. Lord Varkas, the noble who challenged him, stepped forward. He was tall and muscular, wearing heavy armor that gleamed under the arena lights. His eyes burned with anger. You human will prove you belong here or leave in shame, Varkas said loudly. Ray met his gaze calmly. I am ready. The judges, wise Zalari elders, explained the rules. The trial would test strength, skill, and wit. Ray would face Varkas's best warrior in combat. If he won, he would prove his honor. Ray knew this was more than a fight. It was a battle for trust between two worlds. Training begins. The next days were hard. Ray had never fought in an alien arena before. The weapons were strange. Energy blades, plasma spears, and armor that could block most attacks. Zalaria visited often. You must learn fast. The Zalari warrior will not go easy. Ray nodded. I will do my best. He trained with Zalari instructors, learning to use their weapons and understand their fighting style. At first he struggled. The movements were different, the speed faster than anything he had faced. But Ray was human. He studied carefully, watched his opponents, and practiced tirelessly. He used his knowledge of engineering to understand how the energy weapons worked. He found small weaknesses in the armor design and planned how to exploit them. Most important, he stayed calm. The day of the trial. Finally, the day arrived. The arena was packed with Zalari citizens and nobles. The air buzzed with excitement and fear. Zalaria sat in the front row, her eyes fixed on Ray. She wore her royal cloak, shining with stars. Ray took a deep breath. He felt the weight of many eyes on him, but he was ready. The gates opened, and Varkas's champion entered, a tall, fierce Zalari warrior named Tharok. He wore dark armor and carried a glowing spear. The judges announced the start. The crowd fell silent. Tharok charged immediately, spear flashing. Ray dodged quickly, using human speed and agility. The fight was fierce. Tharok attacked with power and skill, but Ray used his wits. He remembered the weakness in the armor's joints. When Tharok lunged, Ray moved close, striking at the weak points with a short blade. Tharok stumbled, surprised. Ray pushed forward, using combinations the Zalari had never seen. Fast moves, unexpected feints, and careful timing. The crowd gasped. Ray's style was different, creative, unpredictable. After a tense fight, Tharok fell, defeated, but alive. The Judges declared Ray the winner. The arena erupted in cheers and whispers. Many nobles looked shocked, others impressed. Celeria stood and clapped. "You have proven your honor, Captain." Ray bowed deeply. "Thank you, Princess." After the trial that night, Ray sat with Celeria in the palace gardens. The stars shone. Above them, "You fought well," she said softly. "You are unlike any human I have met." Ray smiled. "I fight for survival, for respect." Celeria looked serious. "There is more you must know. Our empire hides secrets, things even the nobles don't talk about." Ray's curiosity grew. "Tell me." She took a deep breath. "Long ago, the Zalari feared humans. There was a great war, thousands of years ago. Humans fought fiercely, and the Zalari barely won." Ray's eyes widened. "I never heard that story." "It was hidden," Celeria said, "because the Empire wants to forget, but fear remains. Some nobles want to control humans, or destroy them." Ray frowned. "What will happen now?" Celeria looked at him with hope and worry. "You have changed how I see humans, but there are forces against you, and me." Before Ray could answer, a message arrived. The palace was under alert. A coup was planned. Celeria stood quickly. "We must act," Ray nodded. "I'm with you." Together they prepared to face the coming storm. The palace was quiet but tense. Deep shadows moved along the tall walls. The air smelled of metal and fear. Captain Ray Carter and Princess Celeria stood together in the royal chamber. Their faces were serious. The message about the coup had shaken the entire palace. "We don't have much time," Celeria said. "Lord Varkas and some nobles want to take the throne. They fear change, and they fear you." Ray nodded. "I understand. But how strong is their force?" Celeria looked away. "Many guards have joined them. We have only loyal soldiers with us. It won't be easy." Ray clenched his fists. "We must protect you and the Empire." She looked at him with trust. "I believe in you, Ray." Gathering allies, they moved quickly through secret passages to the war room. Zalari officers and loyal nobles were already gathered around a glowing star map. One of the generals, a tall woman, named Kayla, spoke. "The coup will start tonight during the feast. The traitors plan to capture the princess and the council." Ray studied the map. "How many guards can we count on?" Kayla pointed to the blue markers. "About 100. The traitors have nearly 200. Ray's mind raced. "We need to outsmart them, not just fight." Celeria nodded. "The palace has hidden tunnels. We can use them," Kayla agreed. "If we split our forces, we can protect key points and surprise the rebels." Ray felt a spark of hope. "Good. Let's prepare." The Feast of Stars. That evening, the palace was decorated with glowing lights and shimmering banners. The Feast of Stars was a grand celebration of the Empire's strength. Nobles dressed in their finest clothes walked through the halls, smiling but watching carefully. Ray wore a simple Zalari uniform, but his eyes stayed sharp. He stayed close to Celeria. The princess greeted her guest with grace, but Ray could see her worry. Suddenly the doors burst open. A group of armed soldiers stormed inside, led by Lord Varkas himself. "By order of the council, this feast is ended," Varkas shouted. "Princess Celeria, you are under arrest for treason." Gasps filled the hall. Celeria stood tall. "You lie, Varkas." Ray stepped forward. "You won't take her." The traitors raised their weapons. Chaos exploded. Battle in the palace. Ray grabbed a plasma blade from a nearby guard and fought fiercely. The traitors attacked with speed and anger, but Ray's training and quick thinking helped him. He blocked strikes, dodged blasts, and fought to protect Celeria. Around them, loyal guards joined the fight. The palace echoed with shouts and clashes of weapons. Ray saw Varkas moving toward Celeria, sword raised. With a burst of speed, Ray intercepted. The two men fought fiercely. Varkas was strong, but Ray was clever. He dodged a heavy blow, then struck Varkus's arm, forcing him back. Zelaria used the moment to call for loyal soldiers to capture the traitors, turning the tide. The battle raged for what felt like hours. But the tide slowly turned. Kayla led reinforcements through secret tunnels. They appeared behind the traitors, cutting off their escape. Varkus snarled, realizing defeat was near. Ray faced him one last time. "This empire needs change," Ray said quietly. "Not fear." Varkus growled and charged. Ray dodged and used his blade to disarm the noble. Varkus fell to his knees, defeated. Aftermath. The palace grew quiet again. Zelaria approached Ray and smiled. "You saved my life in the Empire." Ray smiled back, feeling tired but proud. "You are not just a visitor here anymore," she said. "You are part of our future." Ray looked around at the palace, the shining halls, the loyal faces. He felt hope. Maybe humans and Zelari could build a new world together. The palace was calm again. The morning light streamed through the tall windows, casting soft patterns on the marble floors. The stars outside slowly faded as a new day began for the Zelari Empire. Captain Ray Carter stood beside Princess Zelaria, on the balcony overlooking the city. The air was fresh and distant ships moved quietly across the sky. "Today feels different," Zelaria said, her voice soft but strong. "The Empire will change." Ray nodded. "It must. After all we have been through." Rebuilding trust inside the royal chamber, the council gathered. Loyal nobles and officers met to plan the future. Ray sat quietly, listening. He was no longer just a guest. He was an advisor now, a bridge between humans and Zelari. One elder spoke. "The Empire must learn from its mistakes. Fear and control cannot last." Zelaria looked at Ray. "We want peace with Earth. But first, we must heal here." Ray felt hope growing. "Peace begins with understanding." The council agreed to send diplomats to Earth to start talks and share knowledge. A message to Earth days later, a special ship was prepared. Ray helped plan the journey. Zelaria stood at the launch pad, dressed in royal robes but with a new light in her eyes. "Captain," she said, "will you lead this mission?" Ray smiled. "It would be my honor." As the ship lifted off, the people watched. It was a symbol of hope. Two worlds reaching out to each other. Friendship and growth back on the palace grounds. Life began to change. New schools opened where Zelari and humans could learn together. Farmers shared Earth's plants and Zelari's technology grew. Ray spent time teaching and learning. One evening, Zelaria invited Ray to the garden. "Do you miss Earth?" she asked. Ray looked at the stars. "Yes, but I feel at home here now." Zelaria smiled. "We will make a home. Together." Threats remain, but not all were happy. Lord Varkus and his followers were imprisoned, but whispers of rebellion still echoed. Ray knew peace was fragile. He trained the palace guards and helped Zelaria build alliances. "Trust is hard to earn," she said, "but it can grow," Ray replied. A promise for the future months passed. The Zelari Empire and Earth began a new chapter. Ray and Zelaria stood on the palace balcony once more. "We faced danger," she said, "but we survived." Ray looked at her. "We built something stronger than fear." Zelaria took his hand. "Together we will protect this peace." The stars above seemed to shine brighter as if blessing their promise. A new dawn was rising, not just for the Zelari, but for two worlds united. John Rayner stepped off his small cargo ship onto the crowded space station. The station hung in orbit around a quiet star. Ships from all over the galaxy came here to trade goods, meet new friends, or just rest. The air inside the station smelled of machines, food, and strange alien spices. John had been a soldier on Earth once, but now he was a cargo hauler. His job was simple: deliver rare minerals from one place to another. Today, he had just landed with a shipment that was important to many. He walked through the busy market, looking at colorful stalls filled with alien technology, foods, and clothes. People of many species moved around him. Some had 4 arms, others had scales or glowing eyes. But John was used to it. He had traveled to many places in the stars. Suddenly, there was a loud noise behind him. John turned just in time to see a group of armored guards pushing through the crowd. At the center, riding on a strange floating throne, was a tall woman with shining blue skin and long silver hair. Her eyes were sharp and full of power. She wore a crown that glowed softly. John stopped in his tracks. The crowd around her parted quickly. This was the princess of the Alari Empire, one of the strongest and richest alien worlds in the galaxy. Her name was Thalvara. John did not expect what happened next. The princess's eyes suddenly locked on him. Her face changed from proud to shocked. She stopped moving. The floating throne slowed and then stopped completely. The guards looked confused but did not dare move her. John felt a cold chill run down his spine. Why did she freeze like that? He could see her lips move, whispering a single word. Impossible. Before he could say anything, the guards quickly took her away. The crowd closed back in, and the market noise returned. People stared at John, with curiosity and fear. Some whispered to each other. John stood alone, trying to understand what had happened. The princess of a great empire was shocked to see him. But why? He decided to leave the market and head back to his ship. He had no answers, only questions. That night, as John was checking his cargo hold, he heard a noise outside his ship. Someone was trying to get in. John grabbed a metal rod and moved quietly. The door hissed open a little. He saw a shadow slip inside. John struck fast. The shadow fell to the floor with a soft thud. John turned on the lights and saw a figure in dark clothes. On the figure's chest was a small badge, a royal seal from the Alari Empire. The figure was unconscious but breathing. John's heart beat faster. Someone from the Alari Royal Guard had come for him. But why? He looked at the badge again. It was a symbol he had never seen before. It was from a secret part of the royal family, a branch that most people believed was gone. John knew he could not trust anyone on the station now. He had to find out why the princess stopped when she saw him, and why someone wanted to capture him. The next morning, John found a small cafe near the docks. There he met Kale, a sharp-eyed alien with dark, green skin and long ears. Kyle was a rebel who fought against the strict rule of the Alari Empire. He told John that the royal family was hiding many secrets. "Your face," Kyle said quietly, "is known to them, but not in any good way. The princess's reaction means you are connected to something very old." John listened carefully as Kale explained an ancient prophecy. The Alari believed a burnt sky being would return to change the fate of their empire. The burnt sky being was said to come from a distant world with blue skies and warm suns. John realized that this prophecy must mean humans. Kyle warned him that the princess Thalvara was forced into a political marriage to keep peace between rival noble families. But she secretly wanted to find the truth about the prophecy, and about John. John felt the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. He was just a simple man, but now he was part of a story much bigger than himself. He agreed to meet the princess, in secret. Late at night, in a hidden part of the station, Thalvara appeared. She was no longer the proud princess of the day. Now she looked tired, worried, but determined. "I know who you are," she said softly. "You are part of the bloodline that was lost." John was shocked. He had never thought about royal bloodlines or ancient wars. She showed him old paintings and records from the palace. His face was in them, painted centuries ago. "How is this possible?" John asked. Thalvara shook her head. "That is what we must find out." Before they could talk more, alarms sounded. The royal guards had found her. John and Thalvara ran through the dark halls of the station. They escaped to the cargo bay, where John's ship waited. As the engines roared to life, John looked back at the station lights. The princess had stopped, cold when she saw him. Now he knew it was because of a secret that could change the whole galaxy, and John was ready to find the truth. no matter the cost.